My husband is a model husband praised by everyone, but on his 70th birthday, he was paralyzed in by Yueguang's bed due to a stroke. I went to the hospital to take care of him. I heard the conversation between my husband and Bai Yueguang. I regret it. I shouldn't have asked someone to ruin her and let you replace her to go to college. In this way, I don't have to pay her half of my life. Let us be separated for 50 years. I was shocked and wanted to ask for clarification. But my husband pushed me to the ground. When I opened my eyes again, I was reborn to the rainy night that changed my life. The man's warm breath sprayed on my chest, and the cold rain poured all over my face. When I opened my eyes, I saw darkness everywhere, and the man on my body was still tearing my clothes. The pain in my head made me realize that I was reborn. Reborn at the moment when I was forced, with surging hatred rolling. I fumbled to grab a stone on the ground and threw it hard at the man on my body. Taking advantage of the moment when he was stunned, I kicked him in the chest again. Without caring about tidying up my clothes, I pressed my knees on him and hit his head with stones again and again. Help! Someone! Someone is a hooligan. I hit him hard and shouted for help. In my previous life, when I was forced, I didn't dare to call for help at all, for fear that I would be seen and ruin my reputation. After the villain left, I was ashamed. It was Song Jiyoung who came to find me and helped me back. Even so, I couldn't avoid gossip. At that time, I was terrified, scared, and worried. I wanted to commit suicide several times. It was Song Jiyoung who patiently comforted me and told me again and again that he didn't despise me. He would marry me and take care of me for the rest of my life. I was very grateful for this, just like a person who fell into a deep well and grabbed the only rope. From then on, I obeyed his every word and was devoted to him. I never thought of bringing the criminal who hurt me to justice. If I hadn't heard the conversation between him and Li Choye before I died, I would never have known that the criminal who hurt me was deliberately arranged by him. I have been played around by him all my life. Hearing someone approaching, the man with the black cloth pushed me away and ran away. I gathered my clothes and hugged myself and cried. The fastest person to come was still Song Jiyoung. Shohong, what's wrong? Have you been ruined? Song Jiyoung took off his raincoat and propped it on my head, looking at me with disgust. What's going on? Why does it sound like Du Jiqing's voice to me? The villager's voice came from the other side of the cornfield. Song Jiyoung hurriedly whispered, Shohong, you must not let others know that you were defiled, otherwise your reputation will be ruined. The gossips of those gossiping women in the village can drown you. Don't worry, I will not despise you when I marry you in the future. The same words came out of his lips as in the previous life. I trembled all over, and the rain mixed with tears flowed down my face. I looked up at him. You asked someone to bring you a raincoat, but when I came, someone else was waiting here. Song Jiyoung, you ruined me. You have to give me an explanation. The light of the flashlight was getting closer and closer. Song Jiyoung had no time to answer my question. He pinched my wrist fiercely and his voice became urgent. Do you want people to know that you are a slut who was abused by others? Hearing this, I raised my hand and slapped him in the face, snatched the raincoat and went to meet the villagers. Help! Someone wants to force me. The villagers looked at me and Song Jiyoung behind me with astonishment. Several militiamen came forward and handcuffed Song Jiyoung's hands and pressed him headfirst to the ground. Song Jiqing, you look so gentle and polite, but I didn't expect you to be a scumbag. Bah! Song Jiyoung shouted at the top of his lungs. It's not me. You misunderstood. Shohong, explain to them quickly. After seeing Song Jiyoung's embarrassed look, I pointed to the direction where the bad guys ran. The bad guys ran over there. Song Jiyoung's eyes suddenly widened. Drinking the hot ginger soup, the coldness on my body dissipated. The purple forehead and scars on my face and hands made me look very miserable. The village head and the secretary of the party committee sat around the table, frowning and asked, Du Jiqing, we didn't catch the bad guys. Did you see what that man looked like? I bit my lower lip and didn't say anything. From the corner of my eye, I saw Song Jiyoung clenching his fists and staring at me tightly. I put the bowl on the table and choked up and said, it was too dark, I didn't see who it was. The village chief and the party secretary looked at each other, and Song Jiyoung let out a sigh of relief. Shohong, let's keep this matter to ourselves today. If it gets out, people will point fingers at you. How will you live in the future? I'm your girlfriend. I won't hurt you. The village chief and the party secretary nodded at the same time, and the village chief said, "It would be fine if the person was caught, but the key is that he ran away. If it gets out, people will say that our Xiaohe village has a bad atmosphere. How can the young men in our village get married in the future? This matter, if it goes on, it will not be good for anyone." I lowered my head and cried softly, "Do I deserve to suffer this injustice in vain?" Several people were silent, and the village head's wife patted my shoulder. "Du Jiqing, if the person was caught at that time, it would be fine. If the person cannot be found, others will only say that you are not good. Think about it carefully." I raised my head and said firmly, "I will report to the police." I injured his head. "As long as we check one by one, we will know who is the bad guy." "No." Song Zhiyong stood up suddenly and glared at me. Everyone looked at him, and he hurriedly covered up. "Xiaohong, I will not allow your reputation to be damaged in the slightest. This matter cannot be reported to the police. You are going to marry me in the future. If it is spread out, others will say that I am wearing a green hat on my head. How can I face people in the future?" I looked at him with tears in my eyes. "I am the victim. I want to report the case. If you think you are wearing a green hat, we can break up." Song Zhiyong left angrily. The militiaman quickly caught Yarrow Lin from the youth farm, and the fresh scars on his head made it impossible for him to deny. Yarrow Lin was locked up in the cowshed. And when the rain stopped, he was sent to the police station. In the middle of the night, I heard someone leave the youth farm, so I quietly opened the door and followed him out, through the gaps in the simple wooden boards, under the dim light of the revolving lantern. Song Zhiyong quickly untied the rope on Yarrow Lin. Yarrow Lin said angrily, "Zhiyong, didn't you promise me that Du Xiaohong would not pursue this matter? I don't want to go to jail. Help me find a solution." Song Zhiyong lowered his voice and said, "I took some money and tickets. You go out and hide for a while. Come back after the storm is over." Yarrow Lin rubbed his wrists that had been tied for a long time with a grin. "Zhiyong, I don't understand why you want me to do this. How much do you hate Du Xiaohong? Why do you want me to force her?" I stood at the corner and bit my lips tightly. This is a question I want to figure out in my 2 lifetimes. Song Zhiyong sighed deeply and looked up at the revolving lantern. Du Xiaohong is too flamboyant. Every time Chuya sees her bright smile, she will secretly feel sad for a long time, always feeling that she is not as good as Xiaohong. Only by letting Du Xiaohong fall into the dust and become like Chuya, Chuya will not feel inferior. Yarrow Lin looked at him vigilantly. "You don't have any inappropriate thoughts about Chuya, right? She is my fiancé. You are my brother." Song Zhiyong smiled and patted Yarrow Lin's chest. "Don't worry, my family background is ordinary. I know I am not worthy of Chuya. Only you can give Chuya a better life. Chuya is so pure and beautiful. I only keep her in my heart and never dare to blaspheme. As long as she is happy, I can do anything for her." Song Zhiyong took off the revolving lantern and continued, "Chuya's parents became labor camp prisoners and became the daughter of a criminal. Then Xiaohong's parents must also become labor camp prisoners. I want her to become like Chuya, so that Chuya will not be sad. You also love Chuya and can do anything for Chuya. Only you go." I feel relieved. Yarrow Lin took a breath. "Du Xiaohong's parents were arrested. Did you do it?" Song Zhiyong said lightly. "I didn't do anything. I just put some letters and information in Du's father's study, and then reported his family." Yarrow Lin said in disbelief, "You are so cruel. You are Du Xiaohong's fiancé. I thought you wanted to get rid of her, so you let me ruin her. I didn't expect that you actually did so much. Why this time?" Song Zhiyong put the raincoat on Yarrow Lin. "Qiu Yi is so delicate, she can't waste her time in the village anymore. It just so happens that Du Xiaohong was admitted to the university, and I gave her university admission letter to Qiu Yi. I asked you to help me because I was afraid that Du Xiaohong would find out. As long as Du Xiaohong got into such a scandal, she would not have the heart to think about going to the university anymore. I know that I will be sorry to Xiaohong if I do this, so I will marry her and spend my whole life to make it up to her." Hearing this, it was like thousands of sharp knives stirring in my heart at the same time, making me feel so painful. 5. Yarrow Lin escaped. The news that he had fled for fear of crime spread all over the village. I came back from reporting the case and was about to enter the educated youth camp when Li Chuya grabbed my arm and shouted angrily, "Du Xiaohong, did you report to the police? Do you know that this will ruin Yarrow Lin's life? How can you be so vicious?" You are here now, but you forced Yao Lin away. What do you want? I pushed her hard. I am vicious. He forced me and ruined my life. Why don't you say he is vicious? Li Chuya pouted and said, Bah, with a fiancé like me. Brother Yao Lin actually likes you. Did you seduce him and deliberately throw dirty water on him? I said angrily. Let everyone judge, which I saw me seducing Yao Lin. Li Chuya continued to snort. Humph, it's your luck that brother Yao Lin is willing to touch you. At most. I'll let him marry you. You are a woman, and you actually reported to the police, saying that you were forced. Do you still have shame? I slapped her in the face. Where there is oppression, there is resistance. Li Chuya, you are still an educated youth. You actually let me marry someone who persecutes me. Your books are all in vain. I suspect that there is something wrong with your position. The educated youth in the same courtyard quietly moved away from her and stood behind me silently. Song Jiyoung came back from outside and saw the slap mark on Li Chuya's face, and glared at me. Du Xiuhong, who gave you the courage to bully Chuya, why don't you apologize to her quickly? Although I knew that Song Jiyoung loved Li Chuya, I was still heartbroken to face the person who had lived with me for 50 years in the previous life again. I said coldly with red eyes, Song Jiyoung, you are my fiancé, but you asked me to apologize to Li Chuya without knowing the truth. Are you as unclear as Li Chuya and can't tell right from wrong? Or do you have some secret thoughts about her? Song Jiyoung's face froze. Li Chuya cried and hid in Song Jiyoung's arms. Jiyoung. I just felt sorry for brother Yao Lin being wronged and lost his trace, so I said the wrong thing. Du Xiuhong refused to give up and slapped me. You have to give me justice. Song Jiyoung comforted her softly. Okay, it's okay. I will let Du Xiuhong apologize to you. Li Chuya glanced at me contemptuously, her eyes full of pride. Song Jiyoung said seriously, Xiuhong, although we all sympathize with you, but this is not a reason for you to bully Chuya. You must apologize to her. Besides, in this matter, are you not wrong? An educated youth sneered. Song Jiqing, do you also want to force the victim to succumb to evil forces? I don't know what Du Jiqing, a victim, did wrong. Song Jiyoung was stunned, and he kept nodding for a long time without saying a word. Song Jiyoung, you just took advantage of my liking for you to frame me in every possible way. Seeing through your hypocrisy, I will never be manipulated by you in this life. I went to the post office in the town, and the staff of the post office told me that my admission letter had been delivered a few days ago. Suddenly I remembered that day. All the educated youth were rushing to harvest in the fields, and only Li Chuya and Song Jiyoung returned to the educated youth point halfway. Could it be that on this day that they pretended to claim my notice? I clenched my fists. When we left the post office, Song Jiyoung and Li Chuya were walking not far ahead, carrying a few bottles of wine and a bag of brown sugar. I followed them quietly and heard Li Chuya say in a tender voice, Brother Jiyoung, do we have to give the village chief so many things just to get a letter of introduction? We have spent all our money. Song Jiyoung said lovingly, you can still earn money, but you must go to college early. Du Xiuhong is making such a big fuss now. I am afraid she will implicate you. My admission letter was in their hands, and I almost gritted my teeth before I resisted the urge to step forward and question them. I turned back to the post office and made a phone call. When I returned to the village, people passing by pointed at me. I knew that the rumors had spread. Yao Lin ran away, and those ugly words would only fall on me. But it was not my fault. I would not feel ashamed or sad. I ran to the village office and told the village chief, Village chief, I have been admitted to the university and have received the admission letter, but I love the vast farm more, so I am not going to go to the university. You don't need to give me a letter of introduction. The village chief and other village cadres looked at me like a madman. I curled my lips slightly and walked away singing, Song Jiyoung, without the letter of introduction from the village chief. Let's see how you can let Li Chuya replace me to go to the university. Sure enough, the next day, Song Jiyoung came to me angrily. Du Xiuhong, you didn't get into the university. What nonsense did you say in front of the village chief? I looked at him coldly. How do you know I didn't get in? Song Jiyoung was stunned for a moment. You didn't even get the admission letter. Of course you didn't get in. I spread my hands and said, yes, so I won't go to the university. So what's wrong with me telling the village chief that I won't go to the university? You, Song Jiyoung gasped. Looking like he was about to faint from my anger, I pushed him away and walked away, but he grabbed my sleeve. Shohong, stop it. Do you know that the news of you being abused has spread everywhere? And everyone is saying that you are shameless. You are still jumping around. Don't you think others don't scold you enough? I shook him off. I am shameless. Isn't it all your fault that I was abused by Yarolin? If you hadn't asked me to go out late at night, how could this happen? He sighed and looked at me affectionately. Shohong, let's get married. The corners of my mouth curled up. Before I went to the countryside, my family urged us to get married. You don't want to get married. Now my parents have been sent down, and they are not a good match for your family. I have also had such a thing happen to me, and you actually want to marry me. Don't you despise me for being a slut? Song Ji-young looked ugly, and was stunned for a long time before he forced a smile. You are right, I should be responsible for this matter. Shohong, let's get married. I will take care of you for the rest of your life. Don't mention that matter again. Yarolin was just impulsive. Don't pursue it, okay? I lowered my head and kept silent. Song Ji-young quickly hugged me in his arms and swore that he would treat me well in the future. A few days later, Yarolin's parents came to my house. They came to propose to me on behalf of Yarolin. 7. Mother Yaro's face was livid, and she wanted to hit me as soon as she came up. I dodged and grabbed her wrist. You are indeed a family that raised a forced criminal. You hit people as soon as you came. Do you also want to spend a few days in jail? Father Yaro stopped Mother Yao and forced a smile. Comrade Xiaodu, it's all a misunderstanding. Yarolin is missing, and we are worried about him. His mother is a little impatient. I hope you can understand, I said lightly. I don't understand. The two were choked and speechless. Father Yao and Mother Yao's faces became more and more ugly, and I turned and left. The two immediately softened their attitude and begged me to let Yarolin go. I refused. And Mother Yaro said tearfully, Du Jiqing, please give Yarolin a way out, as long as you agree to marry into the Yaro family and save Yarolin from prison. You are the Yaro family's benefactor, I sneered. I have been harmed by Yarolin all my life. What's the point of me being the benefactor of the Yaro family? Yaro's father hurriedly said, Yarolin did something wrong. We won't let you suffer. Yarolin is handsome and he was admitted to university. He won't suffer any loss if he marries you. I patted the dust on my trouser legs and said, my fiancé is Song Ji-young. He is a person recognized by my parents and is thousands of times better than Yarolin. I don't want to marry Yarolin, a forced criminal. I want him to go to jail. I don't think you are going to solve the problem. Let's wait until the Public Security Bureau. Before I turned around, Yaro's mother hurriedly grabbed me and said, Du Jiqing, we were wrong just now. As long as Yarolin doesn't go to jail, we will agree to any conditions. I chuckled and said, my conditions are very simple. As long as Uncle Yaro helps me say hello to the people in the post office and asks them to come again, it will be fine. Yarolin was Song Ji-young's good brother in his previous life. I naturally knew that Yaro's father had connections in the postal system. As long as he helps a little, it will be fine. In the evening, when everyone was leaving work, I said to Li Choye, Li Jiqing, I went to the post office to ask, and you received my admission letter. Were you too busy these days and forgot to give it to me? Everyone around was stunned, and all their eyes turned to Li Choye. She blushed, glanced at Song Ji-young, and said in panic, nonsense, what admission letter? I have never seen it. You didn't even get into college. Where did you get the admission letter? Song Ji-young hurriedly said, Shohong, the people at the post office must have remembered it wrong. In our Jiqing point, only Yarolin and I got the admission letter, no female Jiqing. Don't wrong Choye. Apologize to Choye quickly. I sneered, Song Ji-young, you are obviously my fiancé, but you always side with Li Choye. If you like her, why did you propose to me the day before yesterday? Li Choye's face flushed. Du Shohong, don't talk nonsense. I haven't seen your letter in the first place. Brother Song and I, it's even more innocent. Don't falsely accuse me. I shouted. Everyone heard it. Li Choye took my college admission letter, but didn't want to give it to me. She is going to ruin my future. I will report to the police and let them investigate whether she has done anything bad. Song Ji-young's face was livid, and he slammed the hoe on his shoulder hard on the ground. Enough. Du Shohong, how long are you going to make trouble? You don't believe Choye, don't you believe me? I know that you encountered a bad guy that night, which was a big blow to you and made you mentally disordered. I will ask for leave from the village chief and let you rest for a few days. Please stop making trouble, okay? I gritted my teeth and tried not to let tears fall. In order to help Lee Choya clear suspicion, he deliberately mentioned that I encountered a bad guy, just to make me feel ashamed and uneasy. And I didn't have the face to care about it anymore. The village chief hurried over. Du Jiqing, why are you making trouble again? You want to report to the police all day long. Are you going to work? I showed a bitter smile on my face. Village chief, if others can give me a way out, I won't do this. Several educated youths chimed in. Yes, village chief, it is too bad to take someone else's admission letter and not give it back. This will ruin someone's future for life. Someone also advised Lee Choya, Lee Jiqing, if you have Du Jiqing's admission letter, take it out quickly. Maybe you really forgot it. Lee Choya's palm-sized face turned white. A tear was about to fall in her eyes, and she looked at Song Jiyoung pitifully. Song Jiyoung stepped forward and stood in front of Lee Choya. I guarantee with my character that Choya will never do such a thing. She is a kind-hearted person. She doesn't even dare to watch a chicken being killed. How could she do such a sneaky thing? Shohong, you are really going too far in slandering Choya like this. Everyone was speechless and looked at me with condemning eyes. At this time, the sound of a bicycle bell came from the road. It was the postman. The postman smiled at Lee Choya and said, Du Shohong, you got the college admission letter. Why don't you go to school? Everyone took a breath of cold air. I pushed Song Jiyoung, who was blocking the way, and said to the postman, I am Du Shohong. Excuse me, have you ever delivered a college admission letter for Du Shohong? The postman looked at me in surprise. No, when I delivered the letter that day, the educated youth next to you said that she was Du Shohong. I smiled and said to the postman, her name is Lee Choya. She took my letter and refused to give it back to me. What? The postman's face turned cold. If this kind of impersonation is confirmed, you will go to jail. No, it's not me. Lee Choya was shaky and pushed everyone away and ran out. Song Jiyoung glared at me. Are you satisfied now, after that? He chased Lee Choya out. After a while, a cry came from not far away. Lee Jiqing jumped into the river. After Lee Choya jumped into the river, Song Jiyoung also jumped in and quickly rescued Lee Choya. Seeing the two people hugging each other wetly, everyone looked at me inexplicably. I covered my face and said painfully, since they love each other, I am willing to withdraw and help them. However, going to college is my life ideal, and I will never give the admission letter to Lee Choya. This is not only responsible for myself, but also for the country. The country sets up the college entrance examination to select talents. I can't let the country's talents suffer losses for my own selfishness. After I said that, I ran to the educated youth point crying, they can act. And I should learn a little bit from them. After catching a cold, both of them had a high fever. In the past, when Song Jiyoung was sick, I was busy taking care of him. This time, I didn't want to get involved at all. 2 days later, they woke up from the high fever. The first thing they did was to find each other, regardless of the people coming and going around, and hugged each other tightly. They said, this time we will never separate again. I know that they are also reborn. One Lee Choya raised her head and handed me the admission letter. I've returned the letter to you. I won't owe you anything in the future. Don't think that going to college is a big deal, I tell you. College students are worthless in the future. It all depends on your own ability. I took the admission letter and wiped off the dust on it with care. Yes, some people are capable, but unfortunately they can't even get into college, and they have to steal from others. Lee Choya was so angry that her face turned red. When she saw Song Jiyoung coming from not far away, she immediately became tearful. I've returned this broken letter to you. What else do you want? I said coldly. What's the difference between you pretending to claim the letter and a thief? I will investigate it to the end. Just wait. I will definitely take you away before I go to college. Send him to jail. Song Jiyoung looked at me with a cold look. Du Shohong, why are you bullying Choya again? Choya has returned the notice to you intact. What are you dissatisfied with? I told you a long time ago that people should learn to be content, looking at his cold expression as in the previous life. I really wanted to slap him twice. I have seen shameless people, but I have never seen shameless people like you. Song Jiyoung, you don't think this matter is over here. I tell you, the good show is still to come. Song Jiyoung looked at me with contempt. You are a housewife, not a rural woman. What can you do? You really overestimate yourself. Do Shohong, you can only live a good life if you are law-abiding. He only said these meaningless words back and forth, in the previous life. Whenever I wanted to go out to do something, he always belittled me and hit me, saying that I was an uneducated and uncultured rural person, and told me not to go out and embarrass myself. What he often talked about was that I was defiled by someone. He said that if he hadn't pitied me and married me, I would have been drowned in rumors, and how could I live a good life now? I was PUA by him all my life, and I was submissive all my life. It was just because he didn't want me to steal the limelight from his heart. How ridiculous and pathetic. I encouraged the educated youths in the youth house to find the village chief and drive Lee Choye and Song Jiyoung out of the youth house. If it wasn't for the postman who happened to expose Lee Choye's lies, my admission letter would have been kept by her. If they were left in the youth house, who knows if they would hide someone's admission letter next time. We don't want to live with such morally corrupt people. Other educated youths also responded. Before we came, several angry educated youths had turned the beds and belongings of the two people upside down, fearing that they were hiding other people's important belongings. Although the two were angry, they could do nothing. The village chief had no choice but to let Lee Choye temporarily live in the village warehouse. And Song Jiyoung could only live in the most dilapidated thatched house at the entrance of the village. Lee Choye cried and held her bedding and refused to leave. Song Jiyoung had no choice but to come to me. Shohong, Choye is a weak woman who dares not live alone. You can accompany her to live in the warehouse. I laughed angrily. What identity do you have to ask me? He raised his eyebrows and was about to get angry, so I raised my hand and slapped him in the face twice. I didn't slap him before because I hadn't received the admission letter yet, and I was afraid that they would tear up my letter in desperation. Now that I have the letter, I will collect some interest first. Song Jiyoung touched his red and swollen cheek in a daze. You actually hit me. You are so brave. I sneered and kicked him in the stomach, knocking him to the ground. Who do you think you are, talking to me like this? He stared at me and suddenly said, You are back too, right? I was shocked, and then said frankly, Yes, I am back. I will never let you control me in this life. Song Jiyoung, I want to ask you, do you have a heart? Is your heart black? Since the person you like is Lee Choye, why don't you pursue her, but destroy me? Are you a pervert? Song Jiyoung yelled at me. What do you know? A shallow and ignorant woman like you will never understand our feelings. Our feelings are flawless and great. For her, I can sacrifice anyone, anything. I stepped forward and grabbed his hair, slapped him twice. You have such a great sentiment. You sacrificed me instead of yourself. Why do you do that? Song Jiyoung was silent for a while. Didn't I use my whole life to compensate you? You have been a rich wife for your whole life. What else are you not satisfied with? Look at how you look like a shrew now. How can you compare to a hair of Choye? I laughed and shed tears. Song Jiyoung, do you think I care about your whole life? I was trapped at home by you, became your senior nanny, and never lived the life I wanted. Is this what you call compensation? I wiped my tears and said calmly, I will let you know what compensation is. I walked towards the town. No matter how Song Jiyoung shouted behind me, the police I brought caught Lee Choye. When I reported the case, I told the police. Lee Choye and the escaped Yaro Lin are an unmarried couple. I suspect they wanted to replace me to go to college for my college admission letter. Lee Choye instructed Yaro Lin to abuse me. After the police knew that I was a prospective college student, they took this matter very seriously. After investigation, they found that Lee Choye had indeed hidden my admission letter, so they took Lee Choye away. Song Jiyoung looked at Lee Choye being taken away. His face was ashen, and he waved his hand to hit me, but he was stopped by the villagers. Song Jiyoung pushed the villagers away, grabbed my wrist, and pulled me to a secluded place. What do you want me to do to let Choye go? You are also reborn, so you naturally know that a college diploma is nothing great. Choye has already returned the notice to you. Why are you so aggressive? I shook his hand off. If I don't find any clues this time, will you return the notice to me? Song Jiyoung, you are so shameless. However, if you want me to let Lee Choye go, it's not impossible. I have conditions. Song Jiyoung crossed his arms. You say, I looked at him angrily. He said, how did you frame my parents? I want you to clarify and clear my parents' name. Song Jiyoung jumped up as if he was burned. Impossible, your parents. Under my burning gaze, his eyes wandered. I didn't. Shohong, you are my fiancé. How could I frame your parents? I sneered. Don't pretend, Song Ji-young. I heard your conversation with Yao Lin that night. Yao Lin came to insult me. It was you who ordered it. You are really good at making Yao Lin obey you. Unfortunately, he didn't know that his good brother, always coveting his fiancé, you let Yao Lin come to destroy me, and then let me call the police to arrest Yao Lin, killing two birds with one stone, getting rid of us. You can be with Lee Choya openly. Song Ji-young seemed to have been stabbed in the heart, and shouted, nonsense. I never thought of harming Yao Lin. I said contemptuously, you have a crush on Lee Choya, but you have a bad family background and feel that you are not worthy of her, but you are reluctant to give her to others, so you come up with such a vicious plan. You succeeded. Yao Lin could have been fine, but you let him escape. Even if he comes back now, he has become a fugitive. You have completely nailed his crime. Song Ji-young walked away with a wave of his sleeves. This is all your imagination. Looking at his back, I said to the distance, uncle and aunt, you all heard it. Behind the low wall, Yao's father and mother came out with a sullen face. I continued, my parents were framed by Song Ji-young. As long as you help me clear my parents' grievances, in equal exchange, I promise to marry Yao Lin and will not leave a stain on his resume. Yao's father and mother agreed. They have found Yao Lin, who was hiding and wandering around. But the police are still trying to catch him, so he dare not show up. Father Yao showed a fierce light in his eyes. Song Ji-young plotted against my Lina like this. I will not let him go. And Lee Choya, that bitch, I have heard about it. During the days when Lina escaped, she hugged Song Ji-young and didn't take our Yao family seriously at all. I said calmly, before I go to school, I hope to hear good news from my uncle and aunt. When I thought Song Ji-young would come to beg me again. But unexpectedly, Lee Choya was released after only 3 days. Lee Choya came to me proudly and boasted, Brother Song is still capable, he just went to do a small operation for others, and someone released me. I have never seen such a stingy person like you. You said that I forgot to give you the notice. But you still won't give up, even if you go to college. What's the matter? Brother Song doesn't want you anymore. My heart sank straight down. Song Ji-young studied at a medical university. In his previous life, he was a famous knife in the hospital. In the 1970s, there was a great shortage of excellent surgeons in China. As long as he showed a little bit of his previous life skills, countless people would flock to him. It was too easy for a person like him to make friends with powerful people. I guess he deliberately performed surgery for Lee Choya. Anyway, he had such skills, it didn't matter whether he went to college or not. The hospital would definitely treat him as a treasure and let him join the hospital directly. Sure enough, a few days later, the director of the municipal hospital came to the village in person to help Song Ji-young go through the entry procedures. When Song Ji-young proposed that he would bring a family member, the villagers looked at me with envy. Du Jiqing is so lucky to have such a loyal fiancé. Yes, I heard that something happened in her family and she had to go to the countryside. Song Jiqing was afraid that she would suffer in the countryside alone, so he signed up and accompanied her to the countryside. She is also lucky. After that incident, Song Jiqing did not despise her, did not care that he was cuckolded, and took her to the city to enjoy life. Listening to the villagers' discussion, Lee Choya's originally rosy face became paler and paler, and she looked at Song Ji-young with tears in her eyes. Song Ji-young gave her a comforting look and coughed. I will take Lee Choya to the city, Qingzhou. She has studied nursing. She can be a nurse in the hospital and help me. Lee Choya's eyes immediately burst into a bright light. Thank you, Brother Song. I'll go pack my things now. In the surprised eyes of the villagers, I sneered, Song Ji-young, you don't take me, the legitimate fiancé, away, but take Yao Lin's fiancé. What do you want to do? Song Ji-young glanced at me. I thought that after you beat me last time, we were clear. Since you still want to entangle, then I will say it again in front of everyone today. Du Shohong, we are done. I don't like a slut like you. Everyone took a breath of cold air. Usually, even if the villagers gossip about me behind my back, no one calls me a slut to my face. Unexpectedly, the person who scolded me to my face was Song Ji-young. I grabbed a stone and smashed it on Song Ji-young's head. Song Ji-young, Don't think that just because you're a doctor, no one will hold you accountable for the bad things you did. I'm waiting for your retribution. Song Ji-young's forehead was cut by me, and Lee Choye screamed and covered his wound with a handkerchief. She wanted to scold me, but was stopped by Song Ji-young. Before I went to college, I went to the farm to visit my parents, seeing my parents' faces again. I hugged them and cried bitterly. In my previous life, they died of illness on the farm before they could get out. I lost the two people who loved me most in the world, and lived more humbly in front of Song Ji-young. This time, I was finally able to save them. It was easy for Yaro's father and mother to make up their minds to find out an unjust case when they were in high positions. Not long after, the grievances of my parents were washed away and they could return to their original units. They refused to believe that it was the fiancé they chose for me who deliberately framed them. Song Ji-young's father was promoted by my father, but there are really such ungrateful people in the world. After my parents returned to work, Song's parents came to our house hypocritically, saying that they did not recognize Lee Choye, but only recognized me as their daughter-in-law. My mother beat them out with a broom. Song Ji-young was arrested before he could make great plans. Song's parents came to our house to plead again, but my family did not even open the door for them. I went to the Public Security Bureau to withdraw the charges against Yaro Lin, saying that we were lovers and were about to get married. The public security had no choice but to let Yaro Lin go. When Yaro's father and mother brought the destitute Yaro Lin to my house to propose marriage, I rejected them calmly. At the beginning, Yaro Lin did not succeed, so there is no need to tie us together for life. Besides, the person Yaro Lin wants to marry is not me. Yaro Lin smiled happily after hearing this. Yaro's father and mother were shocked. They really thought Yaro Lin had forced me, so they were busy trying to find a way to clear his name. Yaro's father looked at me deeply. Comrade Xiao Song is very tactful and patient. I smiled and said, that's because Yaro Lin made the mistake first. If Yaro Lin didn't succeed, they only needed to spread a few rumors and say that I was not disciplined. And they could cover up the matter without running around for my family's affairs. I took advantage of the Yaro family. But so what? In my previous life, Yaro Lin succeeded. Unfortunately, Song Ji-young's medical skills still worked. He was released not long after he was arrested. Lee Choye even ran to me to show off. Du Xiuhong, do you know what you have lost in this life? You lost the love of an excellent doctor. I tell you, I'm going to marry brother Song soon. Help, someone. Someone is a hooligan. I hit him hard and shouted for help. Yaro Lin also loved Lee Choye deeply, so he did such a thing under the instigation of Song Ji-young. He had been on the run for so long, hiding from place to place every day, hungry, and living like a beggar. But when he came back, his good brother and his fiancée both betrayed him. How could he swallow this breath? At the wedding banquet of the two, Yaro Lin rushed in with a sharp knife. He cut off Song Ji-young's wrist and cut Lee Choye's throat. Song Ji-young, who lost both hands, had no way to sew up his beloved woman, and could only watch her fall in a pool of blood and die of blood loss. Song Ji-young lay beside Lee Choye, crying, I don't believe it, I don't believe it, we are the pride of heaven. God let us be reborn to make up for our regrets in the previous life. Why is it like this? Why did it become like this? Ha ha ha, Choye, he was crazy. Yaro Lin killed someone on the spot and was arrested. Yaro's father and mother had only this one son, and his hair turned white in a few days, and I took the admission letter and stepped into the school I had been dreaming of. I studied hard and worked hard to grow up, just to take a different path from my previous life. This time, I will no longer be a bird trapped in the family, but a free-flying eagle.